What's up? It's Sydney and I'm back. I made it to Vegas. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, the background is different. And the background is going to keep changing until my CBP studio at home is built. We're going to be filming some podcasts outside, friend's house. It's CBP, it's always going to be a moving background until the studio is built. So don't get comfortable. But first off, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who listened, tuned in, watched CBP Voice Episode 1, Chaos Before Peace podcast. I mean, thank you. The feedback, the love, the admiration just for my story, it was just so beautiful for me. And last episode I told you guys how I got here, and now moving forward, what is to come is the juice, the philosophies that I live by, the lessons I learned, and just all the information. So if you enjoyed episode 1, I know you're going to love what is all to come. Thank you so much for supporting. And yeah, let's get into episode 2 here in Vegas. Fresh new start. Just let's do it, okay? All right, so last episode I told you guys, like I said, how I got here, what it was, the hamstring, the coworker, the zeroing out my bank account. Yes, $0 in my bank account. All of that. And still everyone from the feedback from episode 1 to the people in my community, just anyone who meets me, they always ask, how do you stay so disciplined? How do you eat so clean? How do you work out? How do you stay so on path, even given what is happening in the world, what you've gone through, what's going on? Like, how? Tell us how. And simple, honest answer, I choose me. Every single day, I choose me. Now, it's not in a selfish way where it's like, oh, I don't care about what everyone else has. No, I choose every single morning when I wake up, I choose what makes me feel good, what makes me feel happy, and what keeps me on the trajectory of where I want to go in this life. When you start making your decisions based on what makes you feel good and what is good for you, your decisions will change. Your tolerance for things that do not serve you will drop. And you'll start to realize the only thing that was ever getting in the way of you was not fully choosing you. And that is what this episode is about. Here's something I want you guys to understand that I don't think we talk about enough in this world is we are born with every single thing you need to complete this life. Everything. You're born with a specific set of gifts for you that will help you accomplish your soul's purpose and mission. All of it is already inside of us. And the second you start looking for answers outside of you is where you find the disconnect. The second you start comparing, following, copying, and trying to mimic what has been done for yourself when you already have your own internal compass, you will not get the results you were looking for. We are the only ones that can guide ourselves. Not your parents, not your mentors, not your spouse, not your kids, not your teachers, no one. Us, you, we are the only people who can guide ourselves. And when I think about this, I think about Miami a lot because, as I told you guys in the previous episode, that was the first time I had full sovereign time over my days. But what I realized, that was also the first time I was not so busy, scheduled, burnt out, that I could hear myself, and that when I heard myself, I was able to make decisions based on what my body was telling me. I was able to listen to what my body needed. Realize the point of staying so busy is so that humans cannot hear themselves. Most of us are so burnt out, tired, overstimulated, and so full of everyone else's opinions that you cannot even hear yourself think. When you cannot hear your own signal and your own self think, when we are the only ones with the map to our life, how do you imagine that plays out? Now, I have a scenario for you guys to help break this down even further. And so I want you to just listen. Throughout history, all of what we've known, it's always been described so small. It's like their land, their village, their family, the tribe, whatever. It's tiny. And that's it. You don't know what everyone else has. You don't know what they're doing down the street. You don't know what's happening even within your neighbor's house, because there's no social media. You didn't wake up and scroll a million people's lives before you even get out of bed. You just live the life you are living. Now, imagine you're a child in the woods, you and your mother, and at 3 years old, suddenly she's gone, and your brain has no idea but to just adapt and move forward. Now, take that same story and imagine you're in the woods. However, there's another girl or another person in the woods just like you, and they still have their mother. Now, that is how lack is created. Not from the story, not from the experience, not from what happened, but from simply being exposed and now being able to compare what you have to someone else, and now thinking, I am lacking without a parent, where you just went your whole life without the parent and made it fine. But now when you see what else life has to offer, you now think, oh, I could have had it this. That is lack. That is what exposure does to your mind. That's social media. That's the world we're living in. You can see everyone's everything. You can see everyone else's relationship, everyone else's car, career, family, their fashion. You can see everyone else's every single thing. And I am a firm believer that humans were never, ever, ever meant to be this exposed to anyone else's life. And I genuinely believe that a lot of the inner wars people are having with themselves is because of how much they've been exposed to. And that gap between what they've been exposed to in their real lives leave room for stories beyond imagination. Now, the thing with this gap of what we're exposed to versus how we live is we don't know the truth about anyone's life on social media, because who on social media is posting everything that they're going through that is terrible, that is dire, that may be negative, that may be affecting them terribly? No one. Everyone posts the finished result, the post of after the makeup's done. Success, having immense amounts and loads of money, that stuff, trust me, you don't see the full picture on social media. Now, here's where being exposed is the problem, because our brains are confirmation machines, okay? Our brains, and what really helped change everything for me is understanding how up here works. Our brain is neutral. It's not objective, it's neutral, okay? Our brain is to observe and report back everything it sees and everything we tell it, okay? So the second you start scrolling and thinking, oh, I need that, I don't have that, oh, no wonder she made it this way because she has that, oh, I don't have enough money, oh, I'm not pretty enough, oh, I'm not fly enough, oh, I'm not smart enough, I can't. The second you start scrolling and repeating these stories, your brain is now working to confirm that. And because you keep telling yourself that story, it will start to feel like the truth, regardless if it is or not, because another key, interesting fact about the brain: it cannot tell truth from fiction. All it knows is what you tell it and what it can see from what you have told it to see. Therefore, if you are constantly confirming to yourself, because I am without this, and that is why I am right here, your brain will keep confirming that, and you will stay right there without this, and this, because 9 times out of 10, we want and compare things that we will never have. So if you could never get where you need to be because you will never have what you are wishing and longing to have, what do you think that is doing to your brain? Working to confirm you will not get to where you want to go because you don't have this. Simple as that. That is how quick, simple, and fast our brain works. And over time, if you keep repeating those negative same stories, that is the truth you will believe about yourself in your life, regardless if it's true or not. And what's so painful about it is because all humans feel they deserve a good life. However, when you constantly confirm with your brain you are without something to have this good life, that is the story and the lesson and the cycle you will live on repeat until you break it. The restlessness a lot of us feel, or the feeling we're behind, even when your life looks okay, that isn't a character flaw, and that isn't something wrong with you. That is your brain working on overdrive to confirm the stories you have told it time and time again, from when you scroll or from when you're exposed to something else. But however, the good news is, and this is neuroscience, is our brains can be rewired, because you can always tell your brain a new story. Every single time you consciously make the decision to rewrite the story, to change the negative narrative, to believe in something you once didn't, that allows your brain to create new neutral neural paths that can be strengthened over time. And your brain will stop creating from deficit and start creating and living in abundance, and abundance can compound into overflow. Until one day, that is your default setting. A brain that makes decisions based from abundance of overflow versus lack and deficit and without. Now, here's something I really want you to sit with. You only know, and we only know, what we're supposed to know for you right now, present moment, this season of life, okay? If you're someone who wakes up every single day and you feel drawn to art, music, a new state, a new country, a new career, a different spouse, if you are drawn to abstract, if you're drawn to things that aren't in your present life, those aren't distractions. That isn't you being irresponsible. That isn't you being careless. That is actually your soul knocking at the door, trying to provide you with data information that is encrypted into who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, where you will find your most success. We don't have anyone else's credentials when we come on this earth. We don't have anyone else's name. We don't have anyone else's resources. You just have you. And that within itself should give you more than enough motivation to understand your life should look so uniquely yours that it shouldn't make sense to everyone else, because no one else is you. No one else can do what you can do. No one else can think how you can think, and no one else can produce what you're here to produce like you can. And the longer you ignore your intuition, your gut feeling, the longer you will stay at that inner war. The longer you compare and look and hope, the longer you will stay disconnected from achieving, from having. The brain is, it's like that. A lot of us, when we go to start chasing our dreams, we look for permission, or we look for validation, or we look for someone else's blueprint, and we look for we look for guidance to complete something that we are drawn to. Go for everyone else's plan, and then you post and wait for it to be validated, and then when it's not, all of a sudden it's not working, or all of a sudden not good enough, and you give up. No. Something that I've had to live my way into is when you have a real calling, your body, your intuition is going to make sure you get there. And in life, when you are consistently doing things that you know you should not be doing, but doing it anyway, when life continuously has a lesson for you, don't be confused, because that is your body and life trying to get you back to where you need to be. When you are consistently going against what you feel, what you know, the most sophisticated information we have comes from our gut nervous system feeling. When you are going against that sophisticated information, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? And when you cannot hear the noise of the sophisticated information, what do you think life will start to look like when you are making decisions for yourself, not based off of what is best for yourself, but based off of what you've seen be best for someone else, or based off of what someone has told you was best for them and now may work for you, but they're not you. You're not them. What do you think life looks like when you are disconnected from your inner voice, following someone else's? When you are constantly consuming everyone else's plans, visions, dreams, and trying to make it yours. The work of healing, the work of life is to be quiet enough to always hear your inner voice, your inner compass. That is the peace that is steady, because no matter what is going on, no matter what is happening in the world, when you can always hear yourself, make the best decision for yourself, there is nothing you have to worry about. And I want to give you guys a practical piece for this, because I don't want you to hear this podcast and then just go back to scrolling, go back. No. Social media is the number one thief of joy, and why we always talk about doom scrolling and how detrimental it is for our health without actually observing why is because when you are constantly looking at what everyone else has, you are constantly confirming to your brain that you are without something. And a brain that feels it is without will find every possible way to stay in that same story. But when you flip it and you start taking stock of what you have, you start appreciating where you are, you start being appreciative of what an experience has taught you, or how you handle this, or how you navigate that. That is the difference in life. That is the gratitude. Being appreciative right now, present moment today. I have the phone, I have the education, you have more than enough, and you will be able to find more good in your life than bad when you understand all the bad that you feel you've gone through. You're still standing here present today, perfectly okay. Learn from that lesson. What did that lesson teach you? Because you went through that lesson to teach you something about yourself, to understand more of who you are and what you're meant to do and be in this world. Do you get that? You have to appreciate you and your life, because there is only you. Only you have gone through what you've gone through. Only you have seen what you've seen. So only you can guide you through this. That is your foundation, and that is what you build from. And I want to say this clear. Practicing gratitude every day is not a toxic positivity, because with gratitude, and why it is so beautiful, is because you are choosing to say, even though I could name this, that is wrong, I am so appreciative that I have this, that, and that. That is gratitude. That is what it is. Not anything toxic, not anything fake. And there is a million things you can find to be grateful for. It's not ignoring real pain or real struggle. It is acknowledging that real pain and real struggle is there. while real happiness and real appreciation is there as well. Gratitude is a neurological practice that can literally change your brain. Research shows that practicing gratitude consistently supports an increase of activity in the part of the brain that is associated with learning, decision making, and your stress response. So when you appreciate where you are, and I mean truly appreciate it, not perform it, but actually feel it, you unlock your next thing. So here's what I want to leave you with. We were only ever supposed to be us. You were only ever supposed to be you. You can only ever be you, okay? And I think until humans fully embrace the idea that there's no mistakes in your life, that your life is perfectly okay, and that you do have everything you need at all times, there will always be an inner war disconnect. You are not behind anyone. You are where your specific, unrepeatable path has brought you time and time again. And that is the only place you can build from. So to the people who ask me how I stay so disciplined, how I eat so clean, how I stay motivated even when there's nothing, the answer is I love this life and I chose this life. I picked this life and this is my life. There is no one else who can live it. There is no one else who can perform it. And I know I was born, even when I feel as though I am not, I know I was born with all I needed to get where I want to go. And that is enough faith and guidance for me to never give up, to never push myself down, to never tell my brain I'm behind anyone, to never doubt anything, because I know the path designed for me is only designed for me. The path designed for you is only designed for you. And the path is going to be positive, negative, good, bad, happy, sad. It's going to be all of that. But it's up to you to understand where life is lifing and happening. You have the ability to sit and listen and how to handle every single thing thrown at you. There is no validation from the outside world when you understand your path and your mission. My path looks like mine, and yours looks like yours. That is what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys love this episode. If you enjoyed, leave some comments down below. Go on the website, let's have a conversation on this. Let's talk more about it. I threw a lot at you. But this is CBP, Chaos Before Peace. I'll be here every 2 weeks with another episode. And remember, before we could ever live in peace, it's their goal to keep us in chaos.